For 3,000 years, the name of humanity had faded from the stars. The Galactic Council, a union of hundreds of alien civilizations, had long forgotten the species that once rose from a small blue world called Earth. Long ago, humans had challenged the Council's rule, brave, fierce, and defiant. They refused to kneel before alien laws that enslaved weaker worlds, but the Council saw humans as dangerous, too independent, too unpredictable. So they united their fleets, burned Earth's surface, and erased the solar system from every star map. That was 3 millennia ago. To the Council, humanity was extinct, but the truth was far different. In the frozen darkness beyond the known galaxy, a small fleet drifted among dead stars. Their ships were ancient, their hulls blackened with time, their engines whispering faint blue light. Inside the largest vessel, the Ark of Dawn, thousands of humans lived, born and raised in metal corridors that had never seen sunlight. The Ark was not only a ship, it was a memory. It carried the DNA of Earth's lost creatures, the records of old human cities, and the digital minds of those who had died during the final war. At the heart of the Ark stood Commander Auric Vale, a tall man with silver eyes and a calm voice. He was not born naturally. He was a descendant clone, a human grown from preserved DNA, enhanced to survive the void. Every generation before him had waited, preparing for the day they would return. And now, that day had come. The ship's AI, Lyra, spoke softly through the intercom. "Commander, long-range scans confirm contact with the galactic rim. We have reached the border of Council space." Auric's hand tightened on the edge of the control table. Before him, the holographic map showed countless stars, the same stars his ancestors once called home. "How long since we left the Veil Zone?" he asked. 2 cycles, Commander," Lyra replied. "All systems operational. Crew morale is high. They are waiting for your words," Auric nodded. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of centuries pressing on his shoulders. He pressed the communication panel. "This is Commander Vale to all decks." The voice echoed through every corridor, every room, every training hall. Men and women stopped working and looked up. Some were engineers, some pilots, some soldiers, all children of humanity's last survivors. 3,000 years ago, Auric began, our ancestors were betrayed. The Galactic Council feared what humans could become. They destroyed our world and called it justice. But we did not die. We endured. And now we return, not as wanderers, but as the voice of every life they tried to silence. A silence followed, heavy and deep. Then came the rising sound of cheers, echoes of fists striking steel walls, voices calling in unison. For Earth, for humanity. As the Ark's fleet advanced, hundreds of smaller ships, Valkyrie-class interceptors, spread out in a defensive net. Their sleek shapes cut through the starlight like shadows. Each pilot was trained since birth, guided by neural links and the memories of ancient warriors stored within their helmets. Among them was Lieutenant Kira Solon, one of the youngest pilots. Her eyes were bright with curiosity as she gazed at the stars. "So this is Council space?" she whispered. "Hard to believe these are the same stars that once saw Earth burn," replied her wingmate Darren Holt. "Let them look at us now," Kira said with a faint smile. "Let them see what they tried to erase." Her ship's sensors blinked red, faint signals ahead. "Unknown vessels, small but fast." "Commander," she reported. "We have contact. Unknown signatures. They're scanning us." Auric's calm voice came through. "Do not engage unless fired upon. We are not here to start a war. We are here to finish one." The unknown ships soon revealed their identity. Council patrol crafts belonging to the Virex species, insectoid creatures known for their strict obedience to Council law. "Unidentified fleet," came a metallic voice through open channel. "You are entering restricted space. Identify yourself or be destroyed." Auric looked at the communication screen showing the alien's cold, multi-eyed face. "This is Commander Auric Vale of the human fleet." The alien froze. For a moment, silence filled the channel. Then it laughed, a dry, sharp sound. "Impossible. Humanity was erased millennia ago." "Then I suggest you update your records," Auric replied evenly. "We are alive and we are coming home." Before the alien could respond, Auric cut the channel. "Lyra, transmit our presence on all open frequencies. Let the Council hear this name again." "Confirmed, Commander." Within seconds, a pulse of coded signals shot through the void. carrying one message across hundreds of star systems. The humans have returned. On the distant world of Velkar Prime, the capital of the Galactic Council, panic began to spread. In the council chamber, dozens of alien representatives shouted across the marble halls. Holograms flickered, showing the dark fleet emerging from the galactic edge. "It cannot be them!" shouted a reptilian delegate. "Our archives confirm their extinction," another cried. "If it is true," said the High Chancellor, a tall crystalline being named Sarath, "then we face an old ghost, one that remembers too much." Sarath studied the images. The human ships looked unlike any known design. Ancient yet powerful. Their weapons glowed with energies unknown to current science. "Send word to all fleets," Sarath ordered. "Block their approach. If they cross into the core worlds, it will mean war." But deep down, the Chancellor felt a strange fear, not of death, but of the return of a species that refused to bow. Back aboard the Ark, Arik watched the news ripple through the galaxy. Every alien world now spoke the same word: humans. "Commander," Lyra said, "the Council is mobilizing fleets. They intend to intercept us before we reach the inner sectors." Arik nodded, as expected. He turned toward the viewing window where distant stars glittered like embers. "For 3,000 years we've hidden, learned, evolved. The Council will soon learn what we've become." He opened a sealed compartment beside him, revealing a small metal box. Inside it lay a piece of blue stone, a fragment of Earth's shattered surface. He placed it on the table and whispered softly, "We're coming home, Mother Earth. This time, they won't burn you again." As the human fleet accelerated, the void came alive with light. Council warships began forming at the borders, their numbers vast, their power unmatched. Or so they believed. Inside every human heart burned a single truth passed down through generations. They thought they destroyed us. They only taught us how to survive. And so began the greatest return in galactic history. Not for conquest, not for pride, but for justice long denied. The stars themselves seemed to tremble, for after 3,000 years of silence, humanity had spoken again. The news of humanity's return spread across the galaxy faster than light could travel. Every communication hub buzzed with the same message: the humans are back. For the Galactic Council, it was a nightmare reborn. For the oppressed worlds under their rule, it was a spark of hope. On the Ark of Dawn, Commander Arik Vale stood before the main bridge window. Beyond the glass, thousands of stars shimmered, but between them now floated something darker: the first Council defense fleet, forming a blockade ahead. Lyra's voice filled the room, calm and steady. "Commander, we have confirmed 67 enemy ships ahead. Their formation suggests they intend to stop our approach." Arik nodded slowly. Their first reaction was fear. Their second is force, as expected. He turned to his officers, men and women born in the steel womb of the Ark. "They think we are still the same humans they defeated long ago. Let's show them what 3,000 years of exile have taught us." The Ark's engines pulsed with a deep rhythmic hum. Across the fleet, ships aligned into formation. Sleek cruisers, heavy carriers, and stealth corvettes that vanished into darkness. In the hangar bay, pilots prepared their fighters. Among them, Lieutenant Kira Solon tightened her gloves, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. Her wingmate, Darren Holt, grinned. "You ready for this, Kira? The first human battle in 3 millennia. "I was born ready," she said, forcing a small smile. "Let's make our ancestors proud. And maybe scare a few aliens while we're at it." They laughed softly, but beneath their words was tension, a quiet understanding that many of them might not live to see the next dawn. On the Council flagship Virex Dominus, Admiral Krelthor, a tall insectoid with silver chitin, studied the human fleet with disbelief. "Their ships are old designs," one officer hissed. "Ancient human models rebuilt with primitive metals." "Do not underestimate them," Krelthor replied coldly. "A cornered species can be dangerous." The alien admiral raised a claw. "Prepare the plasma batteries. Warn them once more. If they continue forward, open fire." Lyra transmitted the Council's message onto the Ark's main screen. "Unidentified fleet. This is the Galactic Council Defense Authority. You are violating restricted space. Retreat immediately or face destruction." The bridge crew turned to Arik, waiting. He pressed the comm panel. "This is Commander Arik Vale of the human fleet. We do not recognize your authority." You destroyed our home and erased our people. Now we return, not as slaves but as survivors." A silence followed. Then the council ships began to move. "Incoming fire," Lyra warned. Streams of blue plasma streaked across the void, glowing trails of death racing toward the human formation. "Evasive maneuvers. Shields at full power," Auric commanded. The human ships twisted like shadows, breaking formation with precise coordination. The plasma bolts struck only empty space. Then, Auric gave the order that would mark the first shot of humanity's vengeance. "Target their flagship, fire." The Ark's main cannon came alive. A beam of concentrated energy erupted forward, white and silent, slicing through the darkness. The light struck the alien flagship's shields and shattered them instantly. The council crew screamed as the ship's hull tore apart in silence, fragments burning as they drifted into the black. Kira's fighter squadron followed the blast, diving into the chaos. "Let's dance," Darren shouted. They weaved between enemy ships, firing precise bursts of kinetic rounds. Projectiles that didn't rely on energy but mass and speed, impossible to block with traditional shields. Alien ships exploded one after another, unable to track the smaller human crafts. For centuries, the Council had grown complacent. They relied on predictable tactics, on technology that was powerful but rigid. The humans born in the wilderness of space had learned to fight differently, unpredictably. On the Ark's bridge, Lyra spoke again. "Enemy formation breaking. 5 ships destroyed, 12 heavily damaged. Our losses minimal." Auric's expression didn't change. "They'll send reinforcements soon. Prepare to move deeper into the system before they regroup." "Commander," said one officer, "should we chase the retreating ships?" "No," Auric replied firmly. "Let them run. Let them tell the Council that humanity has returned, stronger than ever." Far away on Velkar Prime, the Council chamber descended into chaos once more. Dozens of delegates shouted over one another. "They destroyed an entire defense fleet." "They have weapons we cannot identify." "How can this be?" "They were extinct." The High Chancellor Sareth slammed his crystalline hand on the table, the sound echoing through the hall. "Enough, we cannot panic." A younger delegate from the Virex species hissed. "Admiral Krelthor's fleet was annihilated. If this is not panic, what is it?" Sareth turned, his form glowing faintly under the chamber's light. "Then we must prepare for war. The Council has enjoyed peace for too long. Now we face the consequence of our past." He looked up at the hologram, showing the human fleet symbol, a silver star wrapped in the wings of fire. "They come for vengeance," he whispered, "but perhaps we can end this before it begins." Meanwhile, aboard the Ark, celebrations spread through the crew. For the first time in recorded history, humans had won a battle against the Galactic Council. But Auric did not celebrate. He stood alone in his quarters, staring at the piece of blue stone from Earth. Lyra's voice broke the silence. "You should rest, Commander. Rest will come when Earth's name is spoken with honor again," Auric said quietly. "You know what vengeance cost," Lyra warned gently. "Your ancestors once fought with pride and lost everything." Auric looked up. "They lost because they fought alone. This time we are not alone." He opened a new map. Hundreds of small lights marked suppressed worlds, planets under Council rule. "Transmit a signal to these coordinates." Coded message, "Humanity lives." "Rise with us," Lyra paused. "That will ignite rebellion." "Yes," Auric said, his voice steady. "And that's exactly what we need." Weeks passed. Across the galaxy, whispers began to grow. On mining colonies, slaves from dozens of species looked up at the stars, hearing rumors of humans who fought the Council and won. A merchant ship in the Ryland Belt carried secret recordings of the battle, humans defeating the mighty Council fleet. The footage spread everywhere. The legend of humanity, once thought extinct, became a symbol of hope. "If they can fight back," said one miner, "maybe we can too." "The Council is not unstoppable," said another. Rebellion seeds began to bloom in silence, but not everyone was pleased. In the dark space between stars, a hidden Council division, the Purity Order, awakened. These were the same agents who led the ancient extermination of Earth. Their leader, Archon Zevrax, watched the human footage with narrowed eyes. His face was hidden behind a silver mask, his voice calm and cold. "So the ghosts of Earth rise again," he murmured. Then we shall finish what our ancestors began. He turned to his lieutenants. Send spies into their ranks. Find their world, and this time, make sure humanity is erased completely. Back on the Ark, Kira and Darren floated in the observation deck after their patrol shift. The stars outside glimmered like silent witnesses. It's strange, Kira said. We won a battle, but I still feel uneasy. Because you know this is just the beginning, Darren replied quietly. Do you think we can really win? He smiled faintly. We're human. Winning is what we do when we shouldn't be able to. They both laughed softly. But beyond their smiles was the awareness of something greater, the awakening of a war that would decide the fate of the galaxy. As the fleet continued its journey deeper into Council space, Commander Arik looked upon the endless stars and whispered, "The galaxy took everything from us. Now we take it back, piece by piece." The humans were no longer ghosts. They were fire. And the stars themselves would soon remember their name. Across the galaxy, silence turned into whispers and whispers turned into hope. Every world under the shadow of the Galactic Council began to hear the same message, carried through hidden frequencies and secret channels. Humanity lives. Rise with us. The message was short but powerful. It spoke to those who had suffered under the Council's rule. Miners trapped in metal colonies, farmers paying heavy taxes, and soldiers forced to fight for alien masters. For centuries, fear had kept them quiet, but now they remembered the old legends, stories of humans who once defied the Council and fought with unmatched courage. Now, the humans had returned. On the flagship Ark of Dawn, Commander Arik Vale watched as reports filled the screen. Rebellions were spreading faster than expected. Lyra, the ship's AI, spoke calmly. "Commander, uprisings have begun in 8 systems. Several mining colonies have declared independence. The Council is sending fleets to suppress them." Arik studied the glowing map before him. Red lights for conflict, blue for human-controlled space. "Good," he said quietly. "Let them spread their fleets thin. Every rebellion weakens their unity." "The Council will soon call for total war," Lyra warned. "They already have," Arik replied. "They just don't know it yet." In the training deck, soldiers prepared for the next mission. Among them, Lieutenant Kira Solon and Darren Holt ran combat simulations. Their holographic targets flashed across the room, representing alien ships and drones. "You've been training non-stop," Darren said between breaths. "We can't relax," Kira replied, firing another pulse shot. "The Council will come back stronger." "And we'll be ready for them," Darren grinned. Kira smiled, but deep down, she felt the weight of every battle. She remembered the screams through the comms, the ships that never returned. The humans had won a victory, yes, but war always demanded a price. Meanwhile, in the grand city of Velkar Prime, the Galactic Council met once again in emergency session. The massive chamber glowed with golden light, reflecting the faces of hundreds of alien delegates. The High Chancellor Sarath stood at the center. "The rebellion spreads faster than expected," he said coldly. "The humans are fueling it," a reptilian delegate shouted. "Then crush them. Destroy their fleet before they unite more worlds." Sarath's crystal form glimmered. "We will. But first we must understand how they survived. 3,000 years ago our ancestors erased Earth. So where did these humans come from?" At that moment the door opened. A tall figure entered, covered in a long black cloak. The room grew silent. "Archon Zevrak," Sarath said. "We were told you no longer serve the Council." The masked being bowed slightly. "When humanity returns, I return too," Zevrak said softly. "I led the Purity Order during the Great Cleansing. I know how they think, and I know how to destroy them." "We welcome your knowledge," Sarath replied. "The Council cannot afford another failure." Zevrak stepped closer, his voice calm and cold. "The humans hide their world. Find it and you end this war before it grows." Sarath nodded. "And if we can't?" "Then the galaxy burns," Zevrak whispered. Back aboard the Ark, Lyra detected strange signals. "Commander, long-range scanners show encrypted transmissions moving through Council channels. It may be related to the Purity Order." Arik's eyes narrowed. "So they still exist?" "Yes," Lyra said. "The same group responsible for Earth's destruction." Arik looked out at the stars, his voice quiet but full of steel. "Then we finish what our ancestors couldn't. This time the hunters become the hunted." On a distant moon called Ravel 9, a rebellion had begun. Humans secretly sent supplies to the rebels there, weapons, food, and medicine. The leader of the uprising was a tall, gray-skinned alien named Thalrin, once a council soldier. He now stood before his people, holding a human-made rifle. "For years the council took everything from us," Thalrin shouted. "But now we rise, with the humans who dared to fight them first." His army cheered. The rebellion had begun in full. From orbit, a small human stealth ship watched silently. Inside it, Kira and Darren observed the battle. "They're doing it," Kira whispered. "They're fighting back. And winning," Darren added with a grin. They transmitted the data back to the Ark, proof that humanity's message had taken root. However, far away, Archon Zevrax's agents were already moving. They had captured a damaged human probe from one of the battlefields. Inside its core, they found fragments of coded data, coordinates partial and incomplete. "It's not enough to find their base," said one agent. "It will be," Zevrax replied. "Humans hide well, but their past betrays them. They always return to their origins." He opened a hologram showing the old solar system. Destroyed, silent, forgotten. "We will search there first," he said. "The ashes of Earth may yet hide their secret." Meanwhile, inside the Ark's command center, the human council gathered. Scientists, captains, strategists, Arik stood before them. The room filled with quiet determination. "The council knows we're back," he said. "They will send more fleets, perhaps even their strongest. We must expand our alliances." "The rebellion is growing fast," said Captain Juno Wren, "but they need direction. They fight for freedom, but not all understand our cause." "Then we will teach them," Arik said. "We fight not for revenge alone, but to end the rule that keeps billions in chains." The others nodded. For the first time, humanity was not just fighting for itself. It was fighting for the galaxy. In the following weeks, the human fleet began splitting into smaller groups. Each one traveled to different systems to aid rebellions and train new allies. Kira and Darren were assigned to Task Force Nova, sent to support the rebellion on Tyrax Prime, a world once loyal to the Council. When they arrived, they saw the damage, cities in ruins, smoke rising to the sky. But amidst the chaos, thousands of civilians cheered as human ships descended. "They really believe in us," Darren said softly. "Then we can't fail them," Kira replied. They met with local leaders, teaching them new tactics, guerrilla warfare, stealth technology, and the value of unity. In just a few weeks, the tide began to turn, but even as victories grew, darkness was moving unseen. The Purity Order's ships approached the edge of the Veil Zone, where the humans had hidden for centuries. "We have detected energy trails matching human engines," reported an agent. Zevrax smiled beneath his mask. "Follow them. Where humans walk, their ghosts follow." He activated a beacon that pulsed with faint light. "Soon, Commander Vale, I will find your Ark. And this time, there will be no escape." Back aboard the Ark, Lyra interrupted Arik's planning session. "Commander, we have detected faint distortions near our outer patrol zone. Possible stealth vessels. Council scouts? Unknown. Their signature does not match standard Council fleets. It is more ancient," Arik's expression hardened. "The Purity Order." He turned to his officers. "Prepare for full alert. Recall all patrols. No one enters or leaves this sector without my command." He knew what was coming. The real enemy, the one that once burned Earth, was returning. That night, Arik stood alone in the observation deck. Stars glimmered beyond the glass like distant memories. 3,000 years, he whispered. "We have carried this pain across time. But soon we'll face those who caused it." Lyra's voice softened. "Are you afraid, Commander?" Arik closed his eyes. "I am, but not for myself. I fear for what we might become if vengeance blinds us." Lyra was silent for a moment. "Then you are the right one to lead them." He smiled faintly. "Let's hope so." As dawn light touched the fleet's metal hulls, humanity prepared for the next phase. The galaxy was waking, rebellions burning like stars, hope spreading through darkness. But far away, unseen, the Purity Order hunted. And soon the humans would discover that their greatest battle was not for revenge, but for survival itself. For 3,000 years, humanity had lived in shadows. The Ark of Dawn and its fleet had hidden in the uncharted Veil Zone, a region of space few dared to traverse. It was a place of silence, a place where stars seemed dim and still. Now, for the first time, the humans would need to defend it. Commander Auric Vale stood on the bridge of the Ark, watching the faint glimmer of distant stars. The fleet was spread around the hidden human base, their patrol stretching across the sector like vigilant guardians. Lyra, status report, Auric ordered. All systems optimal, Commander. Patrols report no incoming ships within detection range, Lyra replied. For now, Auric muttered. They are close. I can feel it. On a nearby asteroid, Lieutenant Kira Solon and her squad were on reconnaissance. Using small stealth fighters, they moved quietly, scanning for any sign of enemy activity. I don't like this, Kira said. It's too quiet, her wingmate Darren Holt nodded. Quiet is never good in space. Remember our first battle? Silence before the storm. The sensors on their ships suddenly blinked red, faint, irregular energy signatures approaching from the dark. Unknown vessels, Kira reported. Stay calm. Let's see what they're up to, Darren said, adjusting the thrusters. The vessels moved swiftly, cloaked in advanced stealth technology. Human sensors could barely detect them. Lyra, prepare defensive measures, Auric ordered. Confirmed, Lyra responded. Shields at maximum. All stations on alert. Far away, deep in the shadows of space, Archon Zevrax watched through a hidden observation post. His fleet, small but deadly, was cloaked to avoid detection. So this is their hidden home, he whispered. The humans have been clever, but cleverness alone cannot protect them. Zevrax tapped his control panel. Holographic schematics of the Ark and the fleet appeared. We will strike at their heart. This time, no one will survive to return. His agents prepared to move, carrying advanced technology designed to bypass human shields. Every detail of the human fleet had been studied. Every weapon, every maneuver, every weak point. They will not see us coming, Zevrax murmured. Back on the Ark, Auric walked through the central command hall where officers, strategists, and engineers were busy coordinating patrols. Commander, we have received messages from the rebel worlds, said Captain Juno Wren. They are asking for supplies, training, and guidance. We cannot help them all at once, Auric replied. Send aid in waves. Prioritize worlds that will tip the balance against the Council first. He paused, looking at a projection of the galaxy. Small lights marked planets where humans had influenced uprisings. Every light is a life waiting for freedom. We cannot fail them. In the human fortress hidden within the Veil Zone, children played in safe corridors while cadets trained in mock battles. The base was alive with activity, a small civilization in the void of space. Kira and Darren returned from their reconnaissance. Nothing unusual, Kira reported. For now, Auric replied, his expression unreadable. Commander, do you really think Zevrax can find us? Darren asked quietly. If he does, Auric said, we will fight. That is all we can do. Days passed intense preparation. Human engineers upgraded the fleet's weapons, improved shield protocols, and reinforced the Ark's hull. Pilots ran constant drills, testing agility, accuracy, and teamwork. We cannot just fight, Auric said during a council meeting. We must survive long enough to turn the tide of rebellion across the galaxy. Our allies are growing, Captain Wren said. But the Council has forces far greater than ours. Then we must be smarter, Auric replied. We must use our strengths against their weaknesses. Suddenly alarms rang across the Ark. Red lights flashed and warning sirens echoed through the corridors. Intruders detected, Lyra announced. Kira and Darren rushed to their fighters, ready to intercept. Human sensors confirmed what they feared. Cloaked ships were entering the Veil Zone, heading straight for the hidden fortress. This is it, Kira said, gripping her controls. Stay sharp, Darren replied. The attack was swift. Zevrax's fleet emerged from stealth, small but equipped with weapons designed to pierce the strongest human shields. Plasma beams and energy torpedoes streaked across the void. All hands to battle stations, Auric commanded. The Ark's defenses activated instantly. Energy barriers flared, deflecting incoming attacks while human fighters darted through the chaos. Kira led her squadron into the fight, weaving between enemy ships and firing with deadly precision. They underestimated us, she said. Let's show them why humans survive. Despite Zevrax's superior technology, the humans' experience, tactics, and adaptability gave them an advantage. Small, fast ships outmaneuvered the enemy. Coordinated attacks disabled cloaked vessels before they could strike the base. Lyra, focus all power to forward shields, Auric ordered. A massive energy pulse radiated from the Ark, deflecting a salvo of torpedoes and sending several enemy ships spinning into the void. Direct hit. Enemy ship destroyed, shouted one officer. Keep pressure on them, Arik commanded. Even as the humans fought, the Council fleet was mobilizing in response to the skirmish. Their ships arrived in small waves, attempting to flank the human fortress. Arik remained calm. Divide their forces, he said. Force them into traps. Use the terrain of the Veil Zone, asteroids, gravity wells, debris fields, and to our advantage. Understood. Commander, said Captain Wren. The Ark's fleet moved like a shadow through the asteroid fields, ambushing Council forces, turning the battle into a tactical masterpiece. Above the chaos, Kira's eyes scanned the battlefield. She spotted a small group of cloaked ships heading directly for the base's central command hub. Commander, we have incoming enemy vessels targeting the core, she shouted. Intercept them, Arik ordered. Protect the fortress at all costs. Kira and Darren raced toward the threat, dodging torpedoes and firing precise blasts. One by one, the enemy ships fell under their assault. Almost there, Kira shouted. Just a few more. With coordinated attacks from other squadrons, the enemy threat was neutralized. The fortress remained intact. When the battle finally subsided, the human fleet had sustained minor losses, while Zevrax's forces had been significantly damaged. Arik stood on the bridge, surveying the aftermath. They thought fear would protect them, he said quietly. But humans survive not because we are fearless, but because we never stop trying. Lyra spoke softly. Commander, we have proven that the fortress is defensible. The fleet is ready for the next wave of Council attacks. Arik nodded. And we will be ready. They may strike again, but humanity will endure. They will remember us, not as ghosts, but as fire. In the distant reaches of the galaxy, Zevrax retreated temporarily, his fleet battered but not broken. They are clever, he admitted. But cleverness alone cannot save them forever. I will find their secrets. I will destroy their ark, and when I do... He paused, voice cold. The galaxy will see what happens when humans defy the Council. Back on the Ark, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. The crew had defended their home, proving that humanity's endurance was more than legend. Kira and Darren stood together, looking at the stars outside the observation deck. We did it, Darren said, voice low. For now, Kira replied. This war is just beginning. Then we fight, Darren said firmly. Yes, Kira agreed. We fight for every life that the Council tried to take. We fight for our home. Commander Arik returned to his quarters, looking at the piece of blue stone, a fragment of Earth, resting on his desk. 3,000 years, he whispered. We have carried this pain across time, but the galaxy is waking, and soon every star will know the truth. Lyra's voice broke the silence. And what is the truth, Commander? That humans never die, he replied. We adapt. We survive. And when the time comes, we rise, outside. The stars of the Veil Zone shimmered like distant embers, silent witnesses to the return of a species that refused to be forgotten. Humanity had defended its hidden fortress, but the galaxy was only beginning to remember their name. The galaxy was no longer silent. From the smallest mining colony to the grand cities of the core worlds, whispers of rebellion had become roars. Humanity's return had sparked hope, courage, and determination. And now, after countless skirmishes, the final confrontation loomed. Aboard the Ark of Dawn, Commander Eric Vale stood before the fleet assembly. Ships from dozens of worlds had gathered, human-made vessels, rebel ships, and allied craft from species long oppressed by the Council. Today, Arik began, his voice calm but resolute, we face the Galactic Council and the Purity Order. They believe they can crush us, and erase all those who rise with us. But they forget one truth. We survive because we refuse to surrender. We survive because hope cannot be destroyed. Cheers erupted across the fleet. Thousands of voices united in a single declaration. For Earth. For humanity. For freedom. The human fleet, once thought extinct, now led the galaxy into war. Meanwhile, in Council space, High Chancellor Serath and Archon Zevrax watched the growing fleet with unease. They have united the rebels faster than anticipated, Serath said. Zevrax's masked face tilted slightly. They are organized, yes, but they are human. Humans are reckless, driven by emotion. That will be their downfall. And if it is not, Serath asked. Then we finish this now, Zevrax said coldly. Prepare the Purity Order. Today we hunt ghosts. The first battle began at the Virex Nebula, a dense region of space that provided both cover and danger. Human scouts spotted the Council's armada moving through the stars, massive vessels bristling with energy weapons and shielded hulls. All wings report, Arik ordered. Ready, Commander, Kira replied from her squadron. We're in position. Stealth units online. Lyra, maintain cloaking until we strike. Acknowledged, Commander, Lyra said. The humans attacked with precision and speed. Fleets weaved through asteroids using natural terrain to shield themselves and launch surprise attacks. Kira led her squadron on a daring run, striking the Council's vanguard before vanishing into the darkness. Every strike was calculated, every movement coordinated. This is what centuries of training in exile have given us, Arik said quietly. Adaptability, Lyra replied. And unity. Council ships responded with overwhelming firepower, yet their rigid formations made them vulnerable. The humans were unpredictable, striking where least expected, retreating before counterattacks could land. In the middle of the chaos, Arik activated the Ark's main pulse cannon. A beam of pure energy shot through the nebula, splitting enemy ships and leaving a trail of debris in its wake. Direct hit, shouted one officer. Enemy flagship disabled. Good, Arik said calmly. Keep moving. The fight is far from over. On the ground across rebel-held worlds, citizens and soldiers watched holographic transmissions of the battle. Their hearts lifted, their courage renewed. In the industrial world of Tirax Prime, workers left their factories and took up arms, rallying behind human leaders who trained them in the weeks prior. The humans fight for us, said a young soldier. Now we fight for ourselves. Across the galaxy, countless uprisings erupted. Humanity had shown the galaxy that even the mightiest council fleets could be challenged and defeated. But victory came at a price. Zevrax's elite forces struck unexpectedly, targeting the Ark's hidden sectors. Cloaked vessels darted through space, bypassing shields and landing devastating attacks. Commander, we have breaches in Sector 7, Lyra warned. All defensive units, engage now, Arik commanded. Human fighters responded, intercepting the Purity Order's elite ships. Explosions lit the void as small teams neutralized the threat. Kira's squadron dove into the fray, dodging torpedoes and striking with calculated precision. They're fast, Kira shouted. So are we, Darren replied, firing his cannons. Despite their technology, the Purity Order could not match humanity's adaptability, and their attacks were gradually repelled. At the heart of the battle, Arik knew it was time to deliver the final blow. He activated the Ark's quantum disruptor array, a device designed to disable multiple enemy ships at once. Lyra, calibrate for maximum output, he ordered. Calibration complete, Lyra replied. The energy pulse erupted, radiating outward in waves that tore through shields and crippled council vessels. The fleet was stunned. Disarray spread across their ranks. Now, Arik said. All wings strike together. Human and allied forces converged, targeting remaining ships with coordinated precision. The Council armada began to retreat, battered and broken. In the midst of the battle, Kira and Darren noticed a massive, cloaked vessel attempting to escape. That must be Zevrax's flagship, Kira shouted. We're not letting him go, Darren replied. They chased the ship through the asteroid field, dodging fire while weaving through debris. Using a combined strategy of speed, skill, and human intuition, they disabled Zevrax's engines. The masked Archon's ship crashed onto a nearby barren moon. On the moon, the humans confronted Zevrax. Though powerful and dangerous, the Archon realized he could not withstand the unity, courage, and determination of humans. You think you have won? Zevrax hissed. Arik stepped forward, his voice calm but unyielding. We have not just won a battle, Archon. We have risen from the ashes of your destruction. Humanity survives, and you cannot erase that. Zevrax, seeing the strength and resolve in Arik and his fleet, finally understood the truth of what 3,000 years had forged. Humans were not fragile, not fleeting, not to be underestimated. Back on the Ark, the remaining Council forces surrendered or retreated. The galaxy was alive with celebration. Worlds long oppressed sent messages of gratitude, pledging allegiance to the human-led coalition. Commander, Lyra said, the galaxy is beginning to unite under our banner. Rebellion has become revolution. Yes, Arik replied. And this is just the beginning. We fight not for conquest but to ensure freedom. The Council has ruled too long. The galaxy deserves better. A future we will protect. In the central command hall, humans and allies from countless species gathered. Soldiers, scientists, and citizens alike celebrated their first true victory in centuries. Kira looked around at the jubilant crowd, smiling. We did it, she said softly. No, Darren replied, we just started. The galaxy has been asleep for too long. It's time we wake it properly. Commander Arik returned to the observation deck. Outside, the stars shone brighter than ever. 3,000 years ago, he whispered, we were extinguished. But we endured. We carried the memory of Earth, the memory of all we lost. And now the galaxy remembers us. Lyra's voice was gentle. You have fulfilled the promise of your ancestors, Commander. No, Arik said, looking at the stars. We have only begun. Humanity will never kneel. Humanity will never fade. And humanity will always rise. The Ark glided through space, leading the fleet of freedom across the galaxy. Planets once under oppression now rejoiced. The legend of humanity had grown from whispers to roars, and for the first time in 3,000 years, humans looked to the stars, not as exiles, not as survivors, but as the rulers of their destiny. The galaxy had been silent, but now humanity had returned, and the universe would never forget their name.